Here I am, Leon C., aka Morpheus, and you are now listening to the Academy of Wow Men. And as and why and because and thoroughly the conditions and the probabilities and the essential reason why you are here today is to get a wonderful lesson from me that I am willing to give unto you because I care. But here today, this is part one. I don't know. It's part one. It's part two. I got to look at the video. I know. I get it. Shame, shame, shame on me. Okay. But let me see. Let me go through some paperwork here. Bear with me. See if I can get something adjusted for you. A little unbalanced because I want to be correct. Sometimes I'm wrong, but I want to be correct about things. I am checking something here. Bear with me. Don't look like I cannot find the notes here. So definitely shame on myself. Okay. This is definitely part one. In part two, I am going to let you know ahead of time. I'm going to have Brian over here. I'm going to invite him to my studio. And we're going to talk about this particular subject that you see, the mother devil. Now I know what you're thinking. What do you mean? Uh-oh, here come misogamy. Uh-oh, here come issues. Uh-oh, here comes this and that. Get ready. He's going to say something to trigger you. No, ladies and gentlemen. And forget the speakers. It goes in and out sometimes. I've already explained that to you. It's not your speaker system. It is mine and my technical, you could say, setup. Yeah. So, you say, what do you mean? Here we go. Getting more timing in here. Hold on. Let's see here. Ladies and gentlemen, like and share these lessons. I'm getting a lot of people who are chiming in. They're emailing me, but you're not supporting my channel. Okay? Support the channel so I can get more good audio, so I can get more traction here. And maybe these days I'll start putting videos up here for you to see. Okay? So, it doesn't make any sense for you to chime in and email and you try to contact me, but you're not supporting this channel. It's your channel. This is for you that I do this. So the more you invest, you get out of it. Then you can make requests. Actually, any content creator, when you invest in them, they get back to you. How do they do it? Is you have the right and you have the ability to make requests because you put your money into it. You've invested, so they will do whatever you want them to do. Besides anything that's terrible or bad. I mean, that's just common sense. If you want something out of your content creator, invest in them, and they will grow and they'll give back to you. That's the way it works. They will do things for you. They'll make more content. They'll make more merchandise. They'll bring on guests. They will show you things. They will put up hold on here. See, we got technical difficulties. All right, that should be a little bit better for you there. I definitely apologize for that. I'm sure you was able to hear me from the distance. I didn't have the microphone connected. Like I said, little technical difficulties and know I was going in and out. But here I am now. Okay. So, getting on to the subject, then if you needed to hear me, just turn up your speaker. I don't want to have to edit this and fix it up all over again, but I do apologize. But the mother devil, okay? Well, let's do the science. Kids learn by their parents on a realistic and typical basis, natural basis. Children, they go by example, and parents are usually examples. That's the way it works, okay? And this comes by, well, several people have asked me questions about why is it that women grow up to resent men or distance themselves from men, or they want to be the boss babe, they want to disconnect themselves, they want to demasculate men on a typical basis, and why, and including with this is why do they keep chasing the bad boys? Why do they chase guys who they know is no good for them? Why do they think it's important to deal with guys who mistreat them on the often? Okay? So I did some studies, ladies and gentlemen, and I would not be called Morpheus for no reason. And of course, you're a pretend professor. That's what I call myself over here because this is my academy. I didn't say that I was a professor. I am your pretend professor. This right here is the academy. You are sitting in the school of knowledge right now. I can call it however I want to. It's my free will. If you don't like it, take your frail ass somewhere else. Okay, here I speak facts and I do what needs to be done in this broken, terrible sewage of a society. Whatever the hell you want to call it. It's not proper civilization, especially America. Okay? What happens is this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to hold you too long. The whole thing of moving the father out of the home or incentivizing girls, women, incentives to break the home and to pilfer from this guy, to take his resources through either alimony or child support, and also give women even more incentive to be in the colleges, because more women in college than ever used to be. You know, now you got these mandates where they got to hire 4 women to 2 men. So therefore, it's constantly pushing men out of power, or let's just say out of the positions in which they would normally be in. So that's not called balance. That's not called equality. That's called infiltration. It's called it's called the encroachment of an agenda in order to pass a new social engineering concept into reality in which we see today. It starts when you're a kid. What do you mean, Morpheus? Explain yourself. All right, very well. See, when the father's not there and the mother's not there, women aren't as physically capable as men. Even though they try to pop their child when a child get out of line, they pull out a switch, or they try to spank their child's hand if she gets out of line. That is typically, you would say, a normal, common, natural reaction if your child gets out of line. Sometimes you may have to put them in a corner. Sometimes you may have to chastise them by taking away their privileges. Take away their dumb phone, take away their TV, take away their video game. But oftentimes it doesn't quite work like that with the woman. Not to say that she can't raise a child. I'm not saying that. I didn't say that. That didn't come out of my mouth. She raises the child differently, or the little girl. Specifically. Okay? And what happens is there's a lot of emotions involved because she's an emotional lady. She's emotional. So what I have learned in my studies and research and actually going there, being there, I told you I've been all over the place. So when I talk to you about something, I've been there. And most things you can research yourself and figure it out, unless you're just stupid and lazy, which is the majority of you American people. Okay? Or, let me stop. Let me start roasting. Let me quit. Don't want to wake up the black stallion. Let's be cool. Let's be cool right now. Okay? So oftentimes you will experience yourself, or you will see this lady yelling at her daughter, either at the grocery store, at the car wash, wherever it's at. You in a public area where this little kid starts off at the age of 4 and up. And it's always, get your ass back over here. And what the, I tell you, I'm going to beat your butt. And I'm going to blah, 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 blah. Expletives. And you're sitting there watching like, oh my God. How can you yell at your child like that? And it's embarrassing. And oftentimes, it is in a grocery store. Oftentimes, it is somewhere where there's other people where she can truly show off. But she claims that the child is embarrassing her by running through the aisles and going to the toy area, and all you hear is the mother, get your butt over here. I told you, what the, I tell you, what the, I tell you, get your butt over, I'm going to beat your butt, blah, blah, blah. You must, I'm going to go home, I'm going to beat you. That's all you ever hear. Okay? Usually. Because there's a thing about men and women. See, men hold a certain set of authorities where we're not emotional and we're the opposite gender, meaning we carry a different authoritative stance on a child's life where yelling is irrelevant. We don't have to yell. We don't have to raise our voice usually. We just give the child that certain look and the child's going to straighten out. Because the child knows that look means daddy's not happy. Daddy's going to beat our butt. Pause. Meaning chastising. I'm not promoting to hurt your child. I'm not saying that. I didn't say it. Okay? Just normal, natural spankings that we all know of because we've been kids once upon a time. And they've always said, beat your butt. That doesn't mean that they're going to, what do you call that? Abuse. Okay? I'm not promoting nor condoning child abuse. I'm actually saying a statement that most people say, typically. So, what happens is when that father's not there, the mother has to take up the role of the authoritative figure. She has to be the police. She has to be the power. She has to be the judge, and she has to be the nurse, and she has to be the comforter all at one time. And oftentimes, it's not that easy, where it continues to create a chaotic world for her, where she's often uneasy or often needing a glass of wine, often needing something to smoke or something to do or some relief in the middle of the night when her booty call comes by at 10 o'clock when the kids are asleep because they run her up the wall. But however, it explodes every now and then, actually more than often, where the child suffers from what a thing I call abuse. What is the abuse? Verbal abuse. Because verbally yelling and screaming at this girl is going to cause her to mentally absorb this form of what she may be thinking. Did you hear what I said? What she may be thinking is love. Why is this? Because the kids love their mom, usually. Kids respect the parents. And whatever love and kindness that you give to your child, they're going to think it's normal. Just like when you have a two-parent home and they're able to witness and or see mom and dad together, they see that as a form of love or kindness. When you're kissing them on the forehead, when you give them a gentle hug, when you throw them in the air, when you take them to the beach, when you buy them their favorite toy and say, I'm proud of you. You kiss them on their forehead and give them some ice cream. You give them some cards, some balloons. Whatever you do for your child, they accept that as a form of love. And whatever the mom is doing at home, when the father isn't there, she is the only person or the only idol, even though you might have stand-in you can say stepdads, there's big brothers, there's mentors, or whoever else. It's not quite enough when the biological mother isn't being a good example. So here is the problem. What happens is when that little girl grows up, because she's used to her mom yelling at her and mentally somewhat putting her down and giving her unrealistic, stressful expectations. When this mom isn't so-called loving her as she is, or should, or showing her forms of kindness where she's trying to be just like the girl. Meaning, I've seen relationships with mom and daughter where it just look like both of them are best friends. The mother isn't even a mother. The mother's trying to be her best friend. Did you hear what I said? The mother's trying to be her best friend. And it diminishes, or it destroys this thing called authority. The girl cannot respect her. The girl cannot respect her over time. The little daughter, starts growing up to have a problem distinguishing the difference between a mother and her best friend. Because now the mother, instead of emotionally, because she's emotional, because remember, the generality of most women is passive, not aggressive. She is the comforter, not the authoritative figure, not the one to put down the mallet nor the belt. Okay? So she is going to be passive even with her daughter and be light when it comes to putting her in place or chastising her or correcting her. But again, when she do, usually it's not going to be physical. It's going to be verbal. You little this, I told you not to do that. I'm going to take you home. I'm going to spank you. Wait until we get home. You acting like don't make me beat you right here in front of everybody. So she will do that over and over again because the physical encounter is not something that she's, one, made to do. Two, really want to do. Three, it goes outside of her bounds of being feminine or being a nurturer in the home. Even if she's a go-getter, she's a bad girl, she can do it all by herself, big boss, whatever the hell you want to call her, her nature is not too far from itself. You can never talk nature down nor manipulate it. It will rise. Like, for example, I'm just giving you small examples so some of you don't understand. Like they call them Transformers, but I just say LG, whatever else, who's going to the Olympics and doing female sports. And there was once a male, and now that they're called a female, but yet their nature still isn't too far from itself, meaning you can't change what they once was. So they still beating women as if they were men. You understand? They're still outdoing them. They're still outlifting the women. They're still outrunning the women. They're still outswimming the women. They still beating them in soccer and everything else. Because just because you say you can defy nature, that doesn't mean you can't. I told you before, nature is what I call God. And you can't play with nature. Nature's going to win 100% of the time and eventually. And you can put it on the shelf all you want to. It's going to come back with the wrath from heaven and destroy you and everything that you're doing to try to defy it. So, getting back to the subject here, a little offbeat. So the point of the matter is, when this daughter becomes 21 years old, and there has never and hasn't been too many or enough proper father figures to show her some real love. And as a matter of fact, a lot of men have experiences where even if you try to be a step-in dad or a stepdad, which is not, it is not advised, if the mother isn't on board and the mother have been verbally yelling and distorting her daughter, it's not going to matter whether you try to step in or not, because you can't fix what has already been broken. Meaning, she's already, you could say, programmed to not like men, to hate men, or to consider men as the enemy, and to be ill-adjusted where she don't understand a real man, and she's going to shy away from men, and then she's not going to trust them at all just for being a man because what the mother did. So the men who she's going to gravitate to is the man who was just like her mother. Abusive, negative, aggressive, emotional, loud, and ill-adjusted. That's how it works. So she brings that into her adult life, and she's so ill-adjusted in real relationships, real love, or what it's supposed to be, that she's going to continue with the programming that her mother put into her mind psychologically by abusing her with her verbal abuse, that is, and psychologically, where even therapy will not work. Because what happens is the mother have became the devil in her life and didn't even realize it. The mother have encroached on her daughter's free will and have implemented a program of misperception of what kindness and love is. So therefore, when a man comes around and he's a nice guy, he wants to give her flowers, he don't yell, he's not abusive, he wants to compromise, he has a conversation with her, he tells her like it is, he's truthful, he's honest, he helps her, he takes the garbage out, he does a 9-to-5 job, he's a simple person or even an average person, he can be even a high value man, but still he will be this nice person who is a good individual for the society. She will not understand him, she will not accept him, and he will be an alien in the eyes of everything that she surveys. This right here is a very high percentage why men and women, why you encounter women who love the bad boys, why they don't like nice guys, why they need to have somebody who's aggressive and always on the run, because it's an emotional high for her. It has been a drug ever since she was a child because she's been yelled at and mistreated by her own parents. And so she bridges that forward. How I know this is because when there's a child who's been raised by mom and dad, and they showed her real love. They didn't yell at her. They had communication with her. They explained what she did when she did wrong instead of yelling and being unbalanced. Guess what? Even though the few of them, not all of them, may still try to reach out to the bad boys, but there's a bigger consciousness and an awareness that that isn't real love, because their parents showed her what real love was by staying together and treating her with the respect or love and kindness when she was a child, because children learn by example. So the mother can either become the angel or she can become the devil. But what you've been seeing lately in the new generation is the result of the mother's creation, because the mother wasn't a mother, she was the devil in the end. And another reason why you don't have a fairy godmother, because even the fairy godmother didn't want to deal with these current women. She said, hell no, and exit stage left. So now you have mothers who don't know what they're doing and brainwashing their kids to grow up and hate men, be separated from them just like they are, and not understand what real love is, even if it fell on their lap. There's your answer. You know who this is? This is Leon C., a.k.a. Morpheus, and you've been served a wonderful, wonderful red pill today. And that is your answer. Amongst every other answer, this, I am for certain, is one of the major reasons why. And that should answer your question. That should be something for you to think about, especially if you're a single mom. Stop yelling at your daughter because you're programming her to think that that's what love is. That's hatred. It's evil. When anything, you need to explain to her and talk to her and stop being her goddamn friend and be her mother and get a father.